Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's me, Crazyfrankie, and I'd like to welcome you to my Thanksgiving edition of Week 12 of my 4 key game picks. Before I get into quick thoughts, let's now take a look at the playoff picture as we're getting close to the final stretch of the regular season. Let's begin in the AFC. Currently, right now, the Oakland Raiders are the 1 seed. The New England Patriots are the 2nd seed. The Houston Texans are the 3rd seed. The Baltimore Ravens are currently the 4th seed. Kansas City is the 5th seed, and Denver, holding that last playoff spot, is in the 6th seed. In the NFC, the Dallas Cowboys are currently the number 1 seed. The Seattle Seahawks have jumped into the number 2 seed. The Detroit Lions are the 3rd seed. The Atlanta Falcons are currently the 4th seed. The Giants are the 5th seed, and the Washington Redskins currently hold the last playoff spot at the 6th seed. Quick thoughts on week number 11. Well, the only big, like I said, like I'm going to say right now, really the only things that came out of week number 11, keep in mind are the good teams that are still on a roll, like the Patriots, the Dallas Cowboys, and the Seattle Seahawks. Currently, right now, they've proven themselves to be the top teams now in the NFL at the moment right now. But you can't count out the Oakland Raiders. They've now become a force to be reckoned with, and I'm not a Raiders fan, and people who know me on a personal level know that I don't like the Raiders, but I give them their due. They are a team that's on the rise, and they're going to be that way. This is a good team that's going to be probably maybe good for years to come. But other than that, in terms of what I saw out of week number 10, now look, talking about the Raiders and that Texans game, I do agree there was a ton of questionable calls in that game. Obviously, the one of the first drives that the Texans made where when one of their players looked like he missed touching the out of bounds line, but apparently the referee stopped the play, and it was determined that it was out of bounds and it wasn't reviewable. Then not only that, the questionable ball placement in terms of one of their Houston drives that really I kind of did not agree with the referees in terms of ball placement in ways of getting the first down. I really think that the Texans got screwed on one drive. I really think they did get the first down. I didn't believe that the Raiders defense stopped them. But apparently the thing though, the Houston Texans did not take it. They did not use that as motivation to try to win. The Raiders ended up beating them and it was a really good game. I mean, those who live in Mexico City got their money's worth in that game. That game was a great game. But in terms of teams' downfall, now Minnesota finally got back on track, which is another I forgot to mention here, and a huge win. Arizona has now completely fallen apart. Green Bay continues to fall apart. They're pretty much done. But really right now, as I look at it now, the toughest division right now in the NFC really is the NFC East. I will admit that. They have now become that division right now has been the toughest along in the AFC. The AFC West is really the most competitive. But other than that, and quick thoughts on Jared Goff and his debut with the Rams. Well, you can't really blame Goff for most of what happened. I blame a lot of it on the Rams' offensive line, and not only that, their defense did not show up. They basically gave the Dolphins the victory. They basically choked in the 4th quarter, and the Dolphins ended up winning that game. But other than that, that's pretty much it for week number 11. Now let's get into week number 12, shall we? For the first time ever, in terms of Thanksgiving games, and I will be talking about some of them, 3 Thanksgiving games are huge, huge implications. I've never seen anything like it in terms of it. This is, for those who are going to be at home with family, and if you're a big football fan like I am, believe me, these are must-watch games here. 3 of these games are going to be a part of my 4 key game pick, along with 1 game on Sunday. And let's talk about these games. Let's begin with Thanksgiving game number 1, and that is the Vikings at the Lions. The Lions are a 2.5-point favorite. It's just about right, but don't be surprised by the time this game happens on Thursday that this might go down to 2 points maybe. For the Vikings, Sam Bradford went 20 of 28, 169 yards and 1 touchdown pass in a game against Arizona, the game that Minnesota needed to have in order to keep pace in the NFC North and with the Lions. Matthew Stafford went 24 of 33, 278 yards, no touchdown passes, and basically another one of those games that the Lions had to come back and win. And I don't know what's going on with that Lions team. So it does bring out a question to mind here. Now I would say that both teams are evenly matched, and it is a key game because this is first place on the line right here in the NFC North division. The Lions are really good at home, and that's one factor I can see. Minnesota should not take the Lions lightly. If the Vikings take a lead in that game, they better stay on that lead because the Detroit Lions have been known for huge comebacks here. They're kind of the cardiac kids at home. So, and keep in mind though, well, actually scratch that. Both teams are evenly matched. That's what I wanted to say here. Forget what I just said right now. But both teams are evenly matched, and that is this is a tough one to pick here. Both teams are not, well, in all honesty, in terms of competitiveness with the other teams around the NFC, these two teams are struggling here. Tough pick here. This is not a sure pick on what I'm about to say here, but I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions here. They're good at home, but don't be shocked if this is a very, very, very close game and a very competitive game, and I expect it to be because both teams are evenly matched in terms of offense and defense. So really, there's no advantage to either team, even though Detroit's a slight favorite at home. But I'll take the Lions in this one. But in a very, very, very close game, and don't be surprised if the Lions come back and win in the end. So that wouldn't be a shocker to me. Lions over the Vikings. Key game number 2, a big one here. Of course, the second Thanksgiving game. The Washington Redskins at the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys are a huge 7-point favorite, but don't be surprised if that number gets lower. And I think it will by the time this game happens on Thursday. Kirk Cousins, 21 of 30, 375 yards and 3 touchdown passes over an impressive win against the Green Bay Packers on Sunday night. Derek Prescott, 27 of 36, 301 yards, 3 touchdown passes. In a game that really the Cowboys really kind of struggled a little bit against the Ravens, but in the second half they were able to dominate them. In terms of this game here, it's a big one because Washington is trying to catch Dallas, and Dallas is trying to increase their lead in the NFC East because the Giants are right on their tail. And to me, I think the New York Giants are probably the only team that could probably catch up to Dallas here. And everything's going to be interesting coming down to stress and see what happens the rest of the way in that division. For this game, though, I think fatigue is going to be a factor with the Washington Redskins because they're just coming off a Sunday night game. Not only that, you have to travel on the road to go to Dallas. And this is why I think Dallas has an advantage here. And I'm going to go with the Cowboys here. I think fatigue is going to be a huge factor for the Washington Redskins here. But don't be surprised if this game is competitive. And I expect this game to be competitive. But in terms of the second half, I see the Cowboys pulling away in the fourth quarter here. If Washington somehow makes it a game, their defense really needs to come up. And they really need to put pressure on Prescott and Elliott. Otherwise, Dallas's offense will just run away with this game. But I expect the competitive game here. It'll be close all the way to the fourth quarter, and I see Dallas running away with it in the fourth quarter. Cowboys over the Redskins. Key game number 3, the third Thanksgiving game. Yes, all 3 Thanksgiving games are part of my key game picks. The Pittsburgh Steelers at the Indianapolis Colts. Now, keep in mind, this would be Pittsburgh Steelers are a 9-point favorite in this one. It's actually just about right. I don't know the status of what is going to happen with Andrew Luck. He may not play in this game, and that's kind of a downer for this game for the fact. The only reason why I'm putting this as a key game, even though it's kind of, I know a lot of you are going to question me on that, well, it's because the Indianapolis Colts are only 1 game back because of the Texans losing to the Raiders on Monday night. Now the Indianapolis Colts are now just 1 game back of the division, and this is going to be very, very interesting to see. But obviously, if Andrew Luck can't play in this game, I see the Pittsburgh Steelers winning this game and probably winning big here. Even though I would like to see a competitive game here, but I think if there's no Andrew Luck coming for Thursday's game, I expect Pittsburgh to probably run away with it here. But let's throw in some stats here. Roethlisberger in his last game against the Browns went 23 of 36, 167 yards and no touchdown passes. Now, Andrew Luck for the Colts, 15 of 28, 262 yards and 2 touchdown passes in a very competitive game they got into with the Titans. Obviously, because of possibly of injury to Andrew Luck in that game, and it just came out just the last couple of days here. A lot of people say he's questionable for Thursday's game. I don't know if he's going to be in it or not. You can cite me on this. So I would suggest keeping up with the NFL news to see if he's actually going to play in this game or not. I'm not 100% sure on that. But I think Pittsburgh with 9 points they're pretty much a heavy favorite in this one, and I kind of agree with that. You got to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers here, no question about it. Indianapolis is kind of beat up, and they're not that good of a team. So yeah, Steelers over the Colts. And finally, key game number 4. This one, we go to a Sunday game, and it is the Sunday night game I'm picking here. It is the Kansas City Chiefs at the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos are a 3.5-point favorite, and this game is huge. Whoever wins this game will keep pace with the Raiders by just 1 game. The loser of this game will go down to 2 games, possibly will probably be down by 2 games here. And it may be too little too late. But obviously, I wouldn't say too little too late just yet, because remember, these 2 teams have to play the Raiders one more time. And it could come down to probably to the end of the season for the Raiders, Chiefs, and Broncos to see who wins in a very, very competitive AFC West. Alex Smith went 24 of 31, 261 yards, and 1 touchdown pass in a game that Kansas City unfortunately ended up losing to the Buccaneers, and that really kills them, because now they're about, I think now 2 games back, I think, of the AFC West, and actually no, they're 1 game back because the Raiders ended up winning. So yeah, this is a huge game for both these teams to keep pace with the Raiders. Trevor Siemian, the Broncos are coming off a bye week. Trevor Siemian coming up 25 of 40, 258 yards and 2 touchdown passes in a game that they barely beat the Saints in a game that should have been. The Saints ended up beating them, but it turns out because of a block, run back for a touchdown, Denver ended up winning by luck. Tough one to pick here. Very, very tough. This is another game that's not a sure pick here, because Kansas City is looking to get back on a roll. But do keep in mind though, I expect a very, very close game here. No question about it here. It's a tough one here, but I think I'll go with the Denver Broncos here. I think the Broncos need to get back on track here, and they're good at home. I think they only had 1 home loss, and that was to the Falcons earlier in the season. I like Denver at home here. Kansas City, they'll make this game competitive, no question about it, but it'll come down to the 4th quarter and who will have possession of the ball and who doesn't cause turnovers here. So this is not a sure pick here because both teams are good. Expect a very, very close and competitive game here, but I'm going to pick the Broncos here. This is not a sure pick here, but I'll go with the home team in this one. Broncos are 3.5-point favorite. Expect that number to probably get down to probably 2, maybe 2.5. But yeah, but for this one, I'll stick with 3.5 for now. I'm going to pick the Broncos here. Broncos over the Chiefs. All right, everybody, that wraps up my picks for week number 12. For all of my week 12 picks, including all NFL lines and including all of my picks, go to thesportblog.blogspot.com for all of that. My video goes up first, and then my blog post goes up. I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully everybody stays safe, and if they're traveling or anywhere else for that matter, spending time with family, enjoy the Thanksgiving food, and expect a very, very good slate of games this Thanksgiving. I'm excited to see these games on Thursday, along with eating my Thanksgiving dinner. And until then, everybody, enjoy your holiday, and I will see you guys back next week when I talk about my picks for week number 13. Until then, take care and enjoy your football weekend.